I'm going to run through these slides because I'm actually then I'm going to stand out here. A lot of people have dealt with a lot of the numbers, so I don't think I need to do an awful lot of that. Basically, it's huge. And if you didn't get that already, it's just huge. The amount of hydrocarbons that are recoverable because of this process, because of this George Mitchell, is incredible and immense and marvelous and miraculous and marvelous. And it matters a lot because energy matters a lot. That's North Korea and South Korea. A lot of you know that map. It's super depressing. No one wants to live in the dark, where the darkness is. And energy means different things to different people. To me, it's about cold beer and washing machines. And one of the things I particularly enjoy doing when I go to college campuses to make young women's heads spin is that I say that washing machines liberated women more than the pill. You should watch them. It's like a scene from Psycho. I mean, it's like unbelievable. They just completely lose the run of themselves. But energy really matters. This is one of the youngest people ever born on the planet Earth in California, and that child went home healthy. That's electricity, a huge amount of electricity, and the alternative is appalling, and the alternative is death. And there's the washing machine in Africa. And there's a woman who should be either getting her nails done or curing cancer, and she's wasting her time washing clothes. What is this fracking thing about? Well, I was asked today to talk about sort of the economics of it, and I'm not an economist, so I'm not even going to try. I like to say it's about hairdressers. I think the fracking boom is all about hairdressers. If you were a hairdresser in North Dakota 6, 7, 8 years ago, watching the tumbleweed going down the street in Williston or in Tioga, with no prospect of ever buying new equipment, watching cobwebs, you know, basically accumulate around your equipment because you have nobody coming in. You're now employing extra people. The shutters are down and business is booming. It's about hairdressers. This isn't about massive oil companies. It definitely is about them, but it's about a lot of very, very ordinary people having their lives transformed. Anyone in this room been there? That's me. That is the Cenex garage in Tioga. And it used to have one employee. It now has about 20 people. When you walk straight in the door, there's about 20 people at the first counter. There's a food counter that employs about 15. But the bit I love the best is that at the back of this filling station, they used to have a big warehouse, and they used to sell tires. And the guy thought, I'm going to stop with the tires. And he started to sell men's heavy work clothes. You know, these kind of very heavy work clothes. And if any of you have ever been to North Dakota, you redefine the word cold in a whole other way when you go to North Dakota. It gets cold. So they have those kind of gloves that you can battery operated to keep you from freezing to death. The guy makes $200,000 a month from the clothes. From the clothes. Not from the rest of the place, just from the clothes. So this is about hairdressers. The effect of the fracking boom... Is this on? Great. The effect of the fracking boom affects everyone. All the boats rise, which is the really great thing about it. It's very, very spread out. The wealth is very, very spread out, which is fantastic. And it's spread out to people like this. One of my stories that I love to tell is we were in Pennsylvania filming Frack Nation. And there was a bunch of guys, you know, rednecks, getting their dinner. And when it came to pay the bill, the waitress came down, and I heard her say to them, that man at the bar has bought your dinner. And they didn't know him or anything, and it wasn't some kind of like sort of homosexual situation that was developing or anything. What had happened was, the guy at the bar came down and he said, I ran the car dealership here for years, and we made no money. And I made $20 million last year because of you. So I'm really happy to buy you a meal. That's what the fracking boom is all about. I don't know if this is worth doing, but I actually think it might be. This is all the stuff you've heard about fracking, and I'll run through it really fast. So, scary new thing? Wrong. Fracking started in the United States in 1947 in Kansas. Loads of you know this, probably. The big difference, as the general this morning was explaining, the big difference, the only thing that's changed is the fact that it goes directional now. But they fracked forever. Nothing new in fracking. The big new thing is that they're doing it in shale, and it's going horizontal. Number one, I'll run through this really fast. Flammable water is complete nonsense. You're living in a country, and by the way, go home and try this carefully. Try and see if you can light the water in your tap on fire. And if you can, congratulations, because it's very, very good news. It's very, very good news. Obviously, stand well back from it and have the kid take care of the children. Flammable water is nothing new in America because the ground is full of hydrocarbons, and they just keep coming up the whole time. It's amazing. And and of course, you've got towns all over America called burning springs. Why do you think they're called burning springs? Because people, before we had television in America, this is what they called entertainment. Honey, grab the kids, we're going to light the river on fire. And they did, and then they went home afterwards. And people did it all the time. I have a friend in Colorado, he sent me a photograph of a river on fire in Colorado. They do it at Christmas time. This is what you can do. And by the way, it's a blessed thing. It's because there's so much oil and natural gas out there. And by the way, how many people here have been to Santa Barbara? Nice in Santa Barbara. Have you walked on the beach in your bare feet? Yeah. You know what that is? That's not pollution. You come back, posh hotels in Santa Barbara have a special thing in the bathroom for cleaning your feet. Because your feet come back black with tar because the oil is seeping up. Because they won't do any more offshore drilling than what they've already got because of, well, I'm going to get on to that. Flammable water contamination, including, I love this one. One of the things about our film Frack Nation is it's a lot about journalism. Journalists have forgotten what it means to be a journalist a very long time ago. Here's what they think is journalism nowadays. CNN, NBC, CBC. Stick a microphone into someone's face and ask them, oh, what happened to you? Or what do you think of fracking? And then not do any critical reporting of what they say. One of the big voices in the anti-fracking movement is a guy called Craig Sutner. He has been interviewed by everyone, including Japanese TV. And if you interview him and ask him about his water, he says, there's 3 types of weapons-grade uranium in his water. My God, if the Iraqis knew that. They'd all be down there in Dimmock, Pennsylvania. They don't need to be working out how to weaponize uranium. You can just get it from the tap in Pennsylvania. And that guy was interviewed by the New York Times, by everyone. And no one goes, excuse me, sir, well, I won't say the word, because you're all far too polite. I'm from Ireland. We have appalling language. I'm moving on. Water contamination, yes. Weapons-grade uranium, really. Do your jobs. Seismic activity. For any of you who have heard this seismic activity thing, have you heard about that? Here's all you need to know. Have you heard of thermal energy? That thermal energy, the thermal energy where they get it out of the ground, yeah? The biggest thermal energy plant on the planet Earth is in California. In California, where there is a bit of an issue with seismic activity, and that thermal plant, that energy thermal plant, causes, every day, it causes earthquakes. Every day. Up to 4 on the Richter scale. Has anyone ever heard Greenpeace talk about that? So if they're going to talk about seismic, get them talking about thermal energy. God, they're so disingenuous. Seismic energy, carcinogens, and fracking fluid. Here's the bad news about cancer. Living is cancerous. Coffee's cancerous. Everything's cancerous. Every last thing is cancerous. I think that's all I'm going to say about that. Well, no, it's not. In fracking fluid, there are the kind of things that you'd find under the kitchen sink for using in the washing machine. That's the kind of stuff that is in there. If you ate the dishwasher tablets as your only diet for a year, you're probably very, very likely going to get cancer. But the quantities, it's all about the quantity. Everything is carcinogenic. It's the quantity. And for those of you who don't know this, there are carcinogens in broccoli and in asparagus. For those of you looking at the asparagus suspiciously. There's carcinogens in everything. Next, cancer. This one I'm very serious about. This is where I get serious. This is where I get really nasty and annoyed and angry with the anti-fracking movement. The main opposition to fracking is all based around a film called Gasland. And the guy won a Nobel Prize, listen to me. He probably will win a Nobel Prize. He won an Oscar. He was nominated for an Oscar for the film Gasland. That guy made a subsequent video that was released online called The Sky is Pink, in which he said that in the Barnett Shale, which somebody mentioned earlier, it's a very heavy drilling area around Dallas-Fort Worth. And in that area, he said, everywhere in America, cancer rates had dropped, except for in that part of the country where breast cancer spiked because of fracking. Now everyone's listening. I mean, when you talk about cancer, we're all really listening now. We're all really you know, it's a very scary thing. He just made it up. He just made it up. And I'm not saying he just made it up. The Texas Cancer Registry said he made it up. And Susan B. Komen for the Cure said he made it up. So that's who the opposition is. 5 minutes to go. Oh, no, I'm moving too fast. Oh my God, I've only got 5 minutes. I'm going to quickly, carcinogens, cancer, CO2 emissions. CO2 emissions, what do you want me to do? What did she say? I can speak for CO2 emissions. This is another reason why environmentalists are disingenuous. They say they care about CO2 emissions. They do not care about CO2 emissions. That's a lie. If they did, they would be out celebrating, because since the dawn of the shale revolution, natural gas is replacing coal. CO2 emissions have gone just down, really to pre-2000 and I think 4 levels. Almost actually, it would make us eligible to be members of the Kyoto Agreement, by the way, if we'd been idiot enough to do that. And yet they're not celebrating that. They're not celebrating that because they really don't care about CO2 emissions. They just hate oil and natural gas. Unregulated. My story on unregulated, and I really will, I have to say this. You know, you've heard it's unregulated. It's unregulated. In part of the Frack Nation film, we put the regulations on a table, which nearly collapses. And a lot of the talk about unregulation is in Pennsylvania. Has anyone here heard of Kermit Gosnell, the abortion doctor who's just been whatever, yeah? That's another story. For 17 years, he ran an abortion clinic in Philadelphia. 2 women died. How often did the health department examine his premises in 17 years? Never. Don't talk to me about regulation. It's not a level playing field. Regulation. Oh yeah, and then I just throw the whole lot in the bottom. Prostitution, STDs, murder, impotence, blindness in horses, and depression. And you'll stop fancying your wife. And I'm not even going to deal with any of those. So basically, no matter what you think up, it's all caused by fracking. I used to be brown-haired.
I have to be at peace.
Here's one of the reasons why the anti-frackers get along so well. These are 2 houses in one of the nicest places near where I was brought up in Ireland. It's called Mullaghmore. Do you see the 2 houses? They're built by the same developer. I love this story. This really helps you understand the anti-fracking movement, believe it or not. When they were built, about 2003, they were put on the market for 450,000 euros, right? Which is a lot of money. What is that? John Stossel, what is that? $600,000, is it? A lot of money, a lot of money, a lot of money. They were both sold. The second one, then the people ran out of money. They went bankrupt or whatever. How much was the second one then subsequently sold for? 175,000 euros. Now, if you were in the original house, would you be angry? I can tell you I would never enjoy my Chardonnay again. Because you're sitting there with your $450,000 euro house. Next door, the people got in for 175,000 euros. This is a very classic problem with fracking. Here's what happens, and some people touched on it this morning, but I want to make it really clear to you. This is the only country on the planet Earth where individuals own mineral rights. And it's a game changer. It's the reason why fracking is so successful here. Because the government aren't really involved. What happens is the gas company, the oil company, talk directly to the farmer. Woohoo! That's the way you want to do it. And by the way, when that car from that landman drives up your drive and the guy arrives and wants to give you $1 million today, and then 20% royalty for the next 30 years, by the way, which is how long an average frack job lasts. 30 or 40 years. After a 3-day process, the oil and natural gas comes up for 30 or 40 years. Did you all know that? I think it's amazing. So anyway, envy. Here's another part of the anti-fracking thing that you need to know. Promised Land, big Hollywood film. It did no good, thanks be to God. Matt Damon was in it. Who paid for it? OPEC. OPEC paid for it. The United Arab Emirates paid for it. And guess what Matt Damon said when we pointed that out to him in an Apple store here in New York City? He said, and by the way, he's a producer of the film. He said he didn't know until the first time he saw the film. We got it on tape. It's great. Here's another reason why the anti-fracking movement is getting so much traction. A lot of you know this a lot better than I do. About 25% of natural gas, the natural gas used in Europe, comes from Russia, from Gazprom. And Gazprom represents about 10% of Russian GDP. It's basically Putin's running around money. It's his own money that he can use. If he loses that money, it's all over. So he has a lot of interest in making sure fracking is not the success it is. And this is the guy behind Gasland. This is the guy who said that breast cancer was a problem around Dallas. That's the guy who lied about it and gets away with it and now has made Gasland 2, which has been shown on HBO. And who are the people that he's finding to agree with him? I love this. Have you met these people? So colleges in America are full of these people who basically hate oil and natural gas. And most of it is because they watched, I don't know, they watched too much Dallas. They've heard too much about JR. They've watched all the television is anti-oil and natural gas. If you watch a Law & Order episode and there's an oil guy in it, he's the paedophile. It's already, you've worked it out straight away. He's for sure the paedophile, serial killer, whatever. He's the bad guy. And equally the same, by the way, if there's a priest. He's for sure the bad guy. And that's why we made Frack Nation. You know, to take on these guys, to start looking at the truth of what's out there. This is a miraculous, amazing opportunity for the United States. What an amazing thing. But it's so awful. Here in New York, what's happened? In upstate New York, we interviewed people for Frack Nation, farmers, who cried. You know, these hardy farmers with missing fingers from industrial accidents. And they're crying because they will lose the family farm, because they will not be able to hang on to the family farm because they're not allowed to do a deal with the oil and gas company. And it's because of elites living in this city who get into their power shower every day, who use an iPad and have no idea where electricity comes from, who have been at Berkeley for 1,000 years studying and do not know where electricity comes from. You know, they talk about electric cars. One of my favorite jokes in California is to watch the electric car and say, would you look at the coal-fired car? Coal-fired, it's coal-fired. And they're all so happy with themselves. God almighty. And you know what else they do in California? I'm just going to say this real fast. You know that they put the solar panels up on the house, on the bit facing the road, so the neighbours see it, even if it's north facing. Why don't you just love them? I'm really happy to take questions, and I hope that was helpful.
Oh, thank you so much. That was spectacular.